open with a Fox News alert. Welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. The president arrived in Texas today as the state is still grappling with the devastating flooding caused by Hurricane Harvey. More than a dozen people have been confirmed dead. The rain is still coming down tonight. Fox's Trace Gallagher is in Kingwood, Texas, where he joins us. Trace?
We are in Lake Houston, Tucker, and you got to see this. They just rescued a deer. We're the last rescue boat out here tonight. They've rescued about 400 some people, and some people just won't leave. And they're telling them, look, these boats are going to be ending for the night. So if you see a boat come by, you need to get on it because there might not be another one. As you said earlier today, President Trump was in Corpus Christi. He and the First Lady were taken to an underground command center, and he got the lay of the land inside there. They gave him the logistics on exactly how much damage has happened in Houston, and they also gave him kind of an outline, if you will, on what needs to be done in this very long recovery. Listen now to the president.
This has been a total cooperative effort. Again, we will see you soon. I will tell you, this is historic. It's epic what happened. But you know what? It happened in Texas, and Texas can handle anything. Thank you all, folks. Thank you.
Yeah, Texas can handle anything. And then the president got a chance to fly over and look at the damage for himself on his way from Corpus Christi to Austin, Texas. And when he got to Austin, Texas, he had a very good understanding that the government is going to be in this for the long haul. Listen again.
The sad thing is that this is long-term. Nobody's ever seen anything this long, and nobody's ever seen this much water in particular. The wind was pretty horrific, but the water has never been seen like this to the extent. And it's maybe someday going to disappear. We keep waiting.
I just want to show you this, Tucker, very quickly, because this is kind of what the president saw from 30,000 feet. Look at this. I mean, these are hundreds of houses in a very upscale neighborhood here in Lake Houston, and the damage is just unfathomable. 400 people taken out on rescue boats. We're among the last of them tonight, Tucker.
And not just people, but deer. Good for them. Thanks a lot, Trace. I appreciate that.
Sure.
With so much going on in Houston and the world, you'd think maybe the press would have more to worry about than what the First Lady wears. But no. After Melania Trump was spotted boarding Air Force One in a pair of high heels, many outlets and pundits decided those heels were proof that the First Lady is a modern-day Marie Antoinette. The Daily Beast said Melania Trump heads to Houston in hurricane zone in sky-high stilettos. Writer Maria Del Russo dubbed her, quote, flood watch Barbie, and added, quote, this outfit literally screams I'm an out-of-touch elitist, and what is a hurricane? The New York Times tried philosophically to ask the question, when is a shoe not just a shoe? Whether the headlines caused it or not, by the time she landed, Melania Trump had changed into sneakers. She was not seen eating cake. Tammy Bruce is a radio show host, and she joins us tonight. So I'm reading these, Tammy. I'm not much of a huge feminist or anything, but I bet you Maria Del Russo is.
Yeah.
And yet here she is judging a woman on her footwear. That sounds like the war on women to me. I mean, what do I know as a man? Take it away.
Look, clearly a lot of sexism going on there. But you know what it's really based in? They're harpies. They're jealous and they're envious. Melania Trump is a woman who is dressed always appropriately based on the circumstance. She exited the White House in a pair of heels she felt was appropriate, and yet a pair of slacks and a jacket, clearly going to an airplane which already had her change of clothes prepared for her to change into so that she'd be ready for what she needed to be wearing going into that disaster zone. But, you know, the Trump haters, people who prefer to think badly of other people, are going to do this. Also, the First Lady is very well liked. She's had tremendous impact where she goes. She makes a big difference. The president clearly also has helped a lot of people based on his enthusiasm and his encouragement, which is part of his job, of course. And I think they just want to kind of drag other people down. The American people see that for what it is, but I think obviously most of us are very proud of the First Lady.
Well, here's the weird thing. I mean, I don't personally have strong feelings about Melania Trump one way or the other. I don't know her, but I do remember really well the rule that all of us learned during the last campaign. Hillary Clinton taught it to us, and that is when you criticize one woman, you're criticizing all women. An attack on one is an attack against all.
Yeah.
But Melania seems like she's getting an exemption from that. How does this work?
I think that, of course, they're being hypocritical, and they say that when it works for them. At the same time, you've got Melania Trump, who really does exemplify the nature of somebody who is doing what she wants to do, is in charge of her environment, is proud of her appearance, knows what it's like, and chooses to approach being First Lady in a way that it can make all of us proud. But mostly what it is, too, is again, I come back to the issue of what you have like the mean girls at school. You have somebody who comes in, that people are jealous, and then they attack her because either it's unfamiliar or they see what they want to see, because they can't admit that, in fact, this couple is good for the country, that Melania Trump is good also when it comes to the issues she's working on, as a great mother, has a great reputation in New York for how she was taking care of Barron and her household. So I think that this is also, when you're dealing with a group like, I don't know, Vanity Fair and People Magazine, who really make a living on either telling people how to live or highlighting the rich and famous, I think it's a little hypocritical at that point to complain about her.
It's situational feminism. I'd love to get a list of the women who are protected from criticism and those who aren't. Maybe that'll be published someday. Okay, so to CNN. So I got to admit, I feel a little guilty showing this video because I've had some uncomfortable interviews myself. Probably nothing quite like this, though. The network tried to talk to a flood survivor in Houston today and got this response. Watch.
Y'all trying to interview people during their worst times. Like, that's not the smartest thing to do. Like, people are really breaking down, and y'all sitting here with cameras and microphones trying to ask us what the is wrong with me shivering cold, with my kids wet, and you still putting a microphone in my face.
Rosa Flores, it sounds like you've got a very upset family there.
Yeah, it does sound like a very upset family, but upset specifically at CNN. I mean, can you think of anything more unsettling, having survived a natural disaster, than dealing with the cable news network?
Well, look, we've seen this, though. This is something that most Americans have wanted to say to reporters who try to catch people at their most vulnerable, either in an evacuation situation, an emergency, at a funeral. It's almost like disaster porn or grief porn. And she said what I think a lot of Americans say when you get into this. But also, I would have to say that with all the new media, with everyone being exposed to so much media and being in the media, I think people might be feeling a lot more comfortable to say what's on their mind these days.
That's probably.
Especially to reporters.
That's apparently true. Tammy Bruce, it's always great to see you. Thank you for that.
Thanks for having me.
A professor at the